Hey guys, want to know the 3 sneaky ways to get her in the mood for love and more? Well, whether you've been dating for a while, just started dating, or have been married forever, you're gonna love these ways to get her in the mood. As you know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, women speak 1,000 shades of hint. So, if you want to use these sneaky ways to get her in the mood, then you're gonna have to pay attention to your intent. But Anna, what do you mean by intent? Great question. What I mean by intent is mutual benefit, not selfish pleasure. Let's explore. Men need to release regularly. It's how you're built. Until you get a bit older, then that need wanes a little bit naturally. Also, for men, the release provides a stress release along with it and makes you feel more emotionally bonded with your woman if you're in a relationship with her. But, coming closer, I'm going to tell you a secret. Women are different than men. I know, crazy. So you can't use the playbook on her that you'd like her to use on you to get you in the mood. Women don't generally need release. They want it, but they don't need it. And they typically don't want it unless and until the stress has already been released. And they generally don't feel close to you because of sex, but they need to feel close to you in order to enjoy sex. Of course, exceptions apply. Oh, at the bar. As I've said in other videos, if she's at the bar and hoping for some, she already prepped herself mentally, so you don't have to do anything, just not screw up. But for a woman you're dating or in a relationship with, unless she's put herself in the mental mood, you need to help her with some preparations. You need to use some of these sneaky ways to get her in the mood for making love. And there's one thing you have to avoid doing, otherwise none of these suggestions are gonna work. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Anna Jorgensen. Welcome to Just the Tip Tuesday. So the reason why you wanna use these sneaky tricks to get her in the mood for love is because when a woman is stressed, she's typically even more sensitive and emotional. So she's going to pick up on even more signs of danger in the world. Whether by nature or nurture, women are typically more emotional than men, even in the younger generation. Now that's changing a little bit, but it doesn't change the strategies or the biology of women. So when I say sneaky, what I really mean, ladies, if you're all triggered by the word sneaky, is subtle. So fellas, sneaky, subtle. You got to use these sneaky, subtle ways to get her in the mood with the intent of it being mutually beneficial. Because if not, then she's going to feel like you're manipulating her for your own selfish gain, sex regardless of her feelings, and she's going to be a lot more resistant. And if she's in that frame of mind, then she actually really needs you to seduce her so that she can find that release. Because yes, it is a release once we actually get there, but we have to have like less stress to even get started. All right, yes, thank you for your patience. Let's get to the steps. 3 steps to get her in the mood. 1, help her reduce her stress. If she's got a lot on her plate, she's got a lot on her mind. And a woman cannot think about making love with you if her mind is in 1,000 other places that are not love-making related. Right? Just because you can get there, even if you're stressed out, you may even want to get there. Oftentimes, like, okay, that's what I need. I need some release. Not the same for women. So you need to figure out what's stressing her out and get creative in helping her reduce that stress. So for example, let's say she's working full-time and she's going to school at night, or maybe she's just going to school full-time and she's working at night. And she doesn't even have enough mental energy left over to figure out what she's going to make herself for dinner, never mind going on over to your place for some something. What can you do? Well, here's an obvious one. Order takeout. I'm going to buy you a meal tonight. Or go to her place, make her dinner. Do something to help her reduce her stress level. Example, is she stressed out because it's month end and she's working OT to get the books balanced? Again, Real simple. Make a meal for her, provide a meal for her, pick up some extra domestic chores you don't usually do to help reduce what's on her plate. Not food-wise, but task-wise, duty-wise. Not duty. You know what I'm talking about. Things she's got to do, things she thinks she has to do. Bonus points. Run a bath for her. Make it a bubble bath and make sure that her favorite chocolate and wine are there for her. It might not have immediate results, but it'll take some of the pressure off of her. She'll feel more relaxed. The woman's got to get into her feminine to want to get into her. Yeah, that. But Anna, that's so romantic and cheesy. Only betas do that. Oh, guys. Guys who say that have never been in a successful long-term relationship with a good woman. Sorry, guys. We've never been in a long-term relationship with a good woman. Remember, once you've actually won her over, it's not about being alpha, dominant, mean, or neglectful. Actually, it's never about that. She needs balance. She doesn't want you to be needy, clingy, desperate, attached, codependent. She does want you to be alpha, masculine, dominant, independent, doing your own thing. But you can also be romantic. In fact, you're being alpha dominant by taking charge of her needs so that you can get your needs met. Win-win. And she's not demanding from you. You are providing for her. You are taking the initiative to offer this to her, not because you feel unworthy, not because it's an act of buying her affection or love, but because she deserves it, which means you've chosen someone worthy. You always want to choose someone who does deserve it. Then you're not giving your power away, and she will be able to provide more of what you need. Wink, wink. Don't worry, we're going to get to the juicy stuff. But this brings us to our next point. Patience. You must have patience. No patience, no pussy for you. These sneaky ways to get her in the mood for love are all about the long game, no matter how long your game is. And just the tip, with the right attitude, you'll enjoy this foreplay game and appreciate the payoff all the more when you get there. And if you are the cause of her being stressed out because you've been acting needy, overly attached, codependent, you need to stop that. Stop that right now. Example, let's say you are feeling insecure in the relationship and you know that you want to get close to her by having something with her. So you've been kind of hounding her for it for a bit, but the more you push, the more she resists. You need to actually pause pursuing for the something. I know, it sounds crazy, but you need to avoid initiating any kind of physical touch or intimacy that she knows usually means you want something or it leads to something, just for a little bit. Yeah, you gotta lay off to get laid. So you're going to do the other things that will help de-stress her until she's relaxed enough to be able to open up to you coming to her. A lot of naughties in that one. I'm just going to move on. If she loves you and she's a good woman and you haven't done some of the other stuff that men do to turn her off, or that you've done in the past to turn her off, then she's going to be able to relax and come to you. And just a little side note, if she's been stressed and frigid since the day you met, maybe you chose poorly and she's just not that into sex. 2, sorry it took so long to get to this one, connect with her. As mentioned, women need to feel connected to be able to fully enjoy sexual connection and intimacy. If she feels disconnected because of life stresses or you pressuring her, she's not going to be able to go there. And a good way of reconnecting is to set aside some time to talk with her about the stresses in her world. Not to fix them, just to talk about them. Oftentimes women just need to share. They need to get the words out to feel better, and they don't need to be solved. They just need to spew the problems. Sometimes they'll figure out the problems or the solutions to their own problems just by the talking out of them. You just want her to feel safe enough to be able to share that with her. And if you've judged her in the past or tried to fix everything relentlessly, then you're going to need to be able to say to her, hey, let's talk about it. I promise just to listen. Unless you ask me for advice, I just want to hear you. I want you to be able to unload your problems on me for one night so you can feel better. Another dirty in there. Oh. So for example, instead of giving her space when she seems cranky about something, maybe at work or in her personal life, or you don't even know, because that's what you'd want, you just want to go in your cave to be able to figure it out and then come out when you're ready, you might say to her, hey, what happened? Do you want to talk about it? And then you don't go in there with your Mr. Fix-It hat on. You just go in there to listen. Listening is providing valuable emotional connection. And yes, I know, listening to someone complain all the time about the same thing is exhausting. So this is not the situation where it's all the time about the same thing. But if it's something new or you don't even know what it is, offer to just be there with her and listen. Remember, men and women are different. Women need to do things a certain way. Men need to do things a certain way. Just like a man's going to notice TNA till the day he kicks it, women have other needs. They need to say words. The average woman says 20,000 words in a day, whereas the average man says about 7,000. And she may not want to talk about it, but you saying, do you want me to listen, will make her feel better anyway. And she might say, no, I just want a hug. Maybe she just wants you to hold her and make her feel safe in the world. Like you're her escape from her stress, not the cause of it. And just before we get to the third sneaky, juicy way to get her in the mood for love, a great way of connecting with her is by doing something for her, expressing love in her love language. Now, what's a love language? Well, I've gone over that in another video, so you can watch that if that's something of interest. Okay, so you stuck with me this long. Thank you for that. All right, now this next sneaky trick to get her in the mood for love is actually the one you usually start with, but it fails because you forgot to do the first two, or you didn't know to do the first two. And that is to seduce her. Yeah, this is where you get to do the fun part. So let's talk about seducing her, and then I'm going to share the one thing you should never do or it's going to turn her off. So after she's de-stressed and reconnected to you, seducing her is the hands-on and eyes-on part of getting her in the mood for love. It's about seductive eye contact, lingering gazes, grazing touch, verbal sexual teasing, whispering sweet or naughty things, depending on what she likes, slow dancing, kissing, and so on. Some women get turned on by language, by you telling her what you're going to do to her or what you want to do to her. You need to know what your woman likes, and of course the best way to find out is by asking her. And you can contribute in many ways to get her in the mood by creating the right setting. And the best specific way to get her in the mood for love is by sensual massage. Might sound cliche, but it usually works. So if you don't know how to do a massage, do your best. Take a course. Look at a video online. There's a way to figure out how to get started. But to set the mood and be most effective, you want to remain fully clothed. Make her want you to get there. So it's partially a tease when you remain fully clothed, but you're giving her a massage. Flattering low light, preferably candlelight. This way she feels comfortable in her own body. Soft sensual music, slow sensual movements, teasing and tension buildup, and gauging her response along the way. Now let's talk about mood busters. Related to the massage, moving too fast, making it all about getting what you want in the end. If you do this properly, she will give it to you. She will want it from you. She will take it from you. So it's about the attitude, the intention. You're there to give her pleasure. That's your whole intention. That way, trust me, she will want to get to the place where you get your reward. But if she feels that you're expecting it, then everything you're doing isn't a generous gift, it's a manipulation tactic. It'll feel like a covert contract. So you're doing this because you want her to be less stressed. You want her to feel more connected. You want her to want sex with you. So you can't act entitled to it. But 99% of the time, it's going to end up there. And know that it might take more then one act of love to get her there. If she's been stressed out for a long time, or if you've been disconnected for a long time, you're going to have to build up those things a bit first before you go into the seducing her level. And if you want to know more about the stages of seduction, then I invite you to watch my video, The 10 Steps of Seduction, and how to kiss her so she'll want more. Thanks for being here. God bless.